Hello and welcome to Security Weekly News, episode 299, the Friday show for the week of 14th May 2023. In today's show, we have a $10 million reward, Wemo vulnerability, EXSI threats, critical Cisco flaws, and not CISO flaws as I wrote it, and millions of smartphones with pre-installed malware, along with Bill Brenner. All this and more on this edition of Security Weekly News.
This is a Security Weekly production for security professionals by security professionals. Please visit securityweekly.com/subscribe to subscribe to all the shows on our network.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
It's the show that keeps you up to date on the latest security news twice a week, your trusted source for accurate security information and expert analysis. It's time for Security Weekly News.
Did you know that Active Directory is exploited in 9 out of 10 cyber attacks? With access to Active Directory, attackers can gain control of your network. To keep attackers out, you need to find and fix Active Directory security gaps. Meet Purple Knight, a free security assessment tool that scans your environment for hundreds of vulnerabilities and helps you fix the problems. Ready to reduce your Active Directory attack surface? Download Purple Knight, the #1 Active Directory security vulnerability assessment tool. Visit securityweekly.com/Semperis, SEMPERIS, for more information.
Business Security Weekly is recorded on Mondays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Each week, we address the challenges facing CISOs through our guest interviews, including former and active CISOs. Our news segment is focused on leadership and communication to better help security leaders translate and communicate security risks into business risks. Jason Albuquerque, Ben Carr, Tyler Robinson, and others add their expertise to the conversation. I'm Matt Alderman, and I hope you search for Business Security Weekly in your favorite podcast catcher and subscribe to download our latest content.
I'm Aaron Leyland, and this is Security Weekly News, episode 299. First, in the news this week, we have the USA is offering $10 million reward for information on a Russian man accused of launching ransomware attacks on critical infrastructure. Mikhail, a 30-year-old Russian national, has been charged by the U.S. Justice Department for his alleged role in numerous ransomware attacks, including ones targeting critical infrastructure. He faces over 20 years in prison, but he is unlikely to be arrested and convicted anytime soon, considering they believe he lives in Russia. According to the U.S. Justice Department, Matt V has been affiliated with several major ransomware operations, which we'll probably know the names of: Lockbit, Hive, Pakuk. Happy only staying in countries with no deportation treaty with the U.S. Mikhail, no more McDonald's for you. Okay. The FBI confirms BianLian ransomware switched to extortion-only attacks. BianLian is a ransomware and data extortion group that has been targeting entities in the US and Australian critical national infrastructure since June 2022. However, since January 23, when Avast, go them, released a decryptor for the ransomware, the group switched to extortion based on data theft without encrypting systems. The article has a list of mitigations if you're interested. Okay, Google this week announced the release of a Chrome 113 security update that resolves a total of 12 vulnerabilities, including one rated critical. 6 of the flaws were reported by external researchers. You know what to do. Patch, patch, patch. Okay, the second generation version of Belkin's Wemo Mini Smart Plug has been found to contain a buffer overflow vulnerability that could be weaponized by a threat actor to inject arbitrary commands remotely. In other words, really bad. The issue assigned the identifier CVE 2023-27217 was discovered and reported to Belkin on the 9th of January 2023 by Israeli IoT security company Sternum, which reverse engineered the device and gained firmware access. A link to the article and further details in the show notes as always. A few days ago, a report highlighted the increasing affinity of ransomware groups towards the ESXi platform. The trend continues further with a new ransomware as a service operation added to the list. There's so many of them now. This operation, dubbed Michael Kors, all you people with them watches, watch out. Formerly, it's been renamed, Quillin has been encrypting Linux and VMware ESXi systems since April. Have a look into this if you're a user of ESXi, which is going to be lots of people, I would imagine. Okay, Cisco, not CISO, has released updates to address a set of 9 security flaws in its small business services series switches that could be exploited by unauthenticated remote attacker to run arbitrary code or cause denial of service condition. In other words, really bad. These vulnerabilities are due to improper validation of requests that are sent to the web interface. Cisco said, crediting an unnamed external researcher for reporting the issues. Go researcher. Badly, 4 out of the 9 vulnerabilities are rated 9.8 out of 10 on the CVSS scoring system, making them critical in nature. The article has a full list of what's involved. Cisco never seeming to be out of the news. Okay. Another one never seeming to be out of the news. Apple has announced that it prevented over 2 billion in potentially fraudulent transactions and rejected roughly 1.7 million app submissions for privacy and security violations in 2022. Them numbers are just ridiculous, by the way. The computer giant said it terminated 428,000 developer accounts for potential fraudulent activity. It also blocked 105,000 fake developer account creations and deactivated 282 million bogus customer accounts. It further noted that it thwarted 198 million attempted fraudulent new accounts prior to their creation. Like, just ridiculous numbers, to be honest. In contrast, Apple is estimated to have booted out 802,000 developer accounts in 2021. The company attributed the decline of new Apple Store methods and protocols that prevent the creation of such accounts in the first place. And I can only, for one, imagine what my brothers and sisters on Android are doing. Gosh knows how many bits of malware you have on your phone. Okay, there's a lot of hype this week on Google offering Scary.Zip and .move, MOV domains, but Eric Lawrence, a principal software engineer for Microsoft and a veteran browser wrangler, whatever one of them are, stick to the steers, recently described the arrival of .zip and .mov as not bad, actually. Great words. In his own blog post, Lawrence allows that there's possibly some risk from automatic hyperlinking mechanisms in applications, say email clients that turn vacationphotos.zip into linked text pointing to corresponding .zip domain. However, he contends that it's not a particularly exciting, which attacks are exciting, or likely attack vector, and suggests it might be a good idea to exempt those particular domains from app hyperlinking routines. Lawrence also expressed skepticism that URLs, which are already confusing, will be made much more so by .zip and .mov. URLs are already incredibly subtle and relying on users to mentally parse them correctly in losing proposition in multiple dimensions, he argued. Wow. Okay. Finally, he sees the new TLDs have a potential upside in that newer domains can be rolled out with more stringent security default for registrars. He added that .zip, .move are among the 40 TLDs included on the HTTPS strict transport security preload list, which tells browsers to automatically use secure TLS by default. A really nice article in the Register, that was. Okay, threat actors have been offering access to energy sector organizations, including industrial control systems and OT, operational technology systems, according to a new report from Searchlight Cyber. Analysts of posts published between February 22 and 23 on cyber forums, dark websites, and marketplaces, all the cool places, and found many offers for initial access into the environments of energy sector organizations, including oil and gas and renewable energy firms in US, Canada, UK, Italy, France, and Indonesia. Strangely to me, these prices range between as little as $20 and $2,500, depending on the target size, location, and potential for supply chain attacks. It really is time we had a generational change in the security of our critical national infrastructure, as I, for one, am pretty sure that nation states are running wild in there. Somebody help. Okay. A threat actor has control over millions of smartphones distributed worldwide thanks to a piece of malware that is being pre-installed on devices, so says Trend Micro. Basically, stop buying your phones on Wish and buy them somewhere reputable, because they really are smashing it up and just have various advanced Trojan horses embedded on the devices before you even get them. Apple has addressed 3 new zero-day vulnerabilities exploited in attacks to hack into iPhones, Macs, and iPads. Apple is aware of a report that this issue may have been actively exploited. The company revealed in security advisories describing the flaws. The security bugs were all found in the multi-platform WebKit browser engine. Make sure you're regularly updating your iPhone, etc. And if you do have a handset jailbroken, you should probably be afraid. Very, very afraid. Okay. Now then. It's that time you've all been waiting for. We have Bill Brenner, as I found out after a good old not Facebook. I don't have it. You're on Facebook, Bill. Maybe I should. I have a good old LinkedIn stalking today that he's worked in some pretty cool places. Hi, Bill.
Hello. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for coming on. What have you got for us today?
My pleasure. So I wanted to talk about some things coming up at our upcoming Identiverse conference, which takes place between May 30th and June 2nd in Las Vegas. We have a lot of content surrounding the event, so wanted to share what we're talking about, what I expect attendees to be focusing on, what we've already focused on in recent research that we've done, etc.
Okay, great. Tell us all about it.
All right. So I'll just dive right in. One of the things we're going to spend a lot of time talking about is a research survey that we conducted earlier in 2023, where we asked security professionals, specifically 203 security executives, admins, managers, directors, compliance practitioners from North America. Between December and the end of January, we asked a series of questions to get a sense of what their challenges are when it comes to identity and access, and what kind of solutions that they have happened upon along the way. And so at Identiverse, we'll be talking about the good news, which is that pretty much everybody is aggressively implementing and working to optimize and improve upon their identity access management controls. The not so good news, but shouldn't be overly surprising, is that in this post-pandemic world of hybrid work, where people are doing work on a mix of personal and company devices, and they're doing this from pretty much everywhere now. That has created the challenge of how to ensure that the people who are signing in to use your services, and that's employees, that's customers on the outside, ensuring that they are who they say they are and that they have a right to the access that they're asking for. Things that get in the way: shadow IT, complexity. In short, basically complex products and shadow IT basically cause this clash between security teams wanting to have rock solid, secure identity and access, but without causing headaches for the user experience. So there's that clash that's going to come up. Some of the other things that we're going to be talking about during Identiverse will be actually a topic that came up during a recent webcast panel that we held about charging users for identity and access management and what the pitfalls are to that. Namely that can fly in the face of the very procedures that you're trying to implement, because there's the need to pay for certain things. So we're going to be discussing that and lots more.
Okay. Exciting. I first, I love the name. Is it? I can't even pronounce it now. Identityverse.
Identiverse.
Where is it? Where's the conference at?
Vegas.
Oh, when is it, and why am I not invited?
I don't know why you weren't invited, but it starts May 30th. It goes until June the 2nd. And actually, let me see. I can tell you in a second where it's going to be.
It's like very luckily, the reason that I'm now on Security Weekly is I went and interned for them in 2018, and they brought me to Vegas to Black Hat and DEF CON for the first time. Although it wasn't my first time in Vegas, it was my first security conferences in Vegas. So I do try and go back for Black Hat, but more DEF CON, to be honest. But I've never been out to Vegas for any other of the conferences other than Black Hat and DEF CON. Oh, and
yeah,
B-sides,
similar here. I've been to a couple others over the years, but when I go to Vegas, it's always because it's time for Black Hat, DEF CON, and security B-sides, and it'll actually be weird going there for an entirely different conference experience. But
so this one seems quite interesting.
As it turns out, it's going to be at the Aria Resort and Casino.
Okay, I don't even think I've been in that hotel, to be honest, or resort.
I don't think I have either.
It sounds like it's nearly, I don't want to say bespoke. No, it's like IAM, which obviously is very important, especially for corporate, sort of massive corporate giants. It's like, what type of people do you have going there?
So really think of everybody who works on a security team. So, and we'll use the example of at an enterprise level. So you have your CISO at the top, and then you have your, chief security architects, your chief identity officer, different companies will call them different things, but then we will have attendees who are, at the engineering level, at the development level. So the goal is to provide content that can speak to the different personas. So your leaders / decision makers, CISOs, your manager personas, so directors, and your champions. So the persona of people that do a lot of the foundational work that makes everything run. And the goal is to give them a mix of content that increases awareness, but also, and I would say most importantly, helps them make decisions. So all of this content, the key is that we offer a lot of guidance in the different talks and in the material that we've already put out.
Sure.
Anyone can
So
talk
if I
about
was
why
the
things are bad and you know, the pain points, but the most important thing is, what do you do about all of that?
So if I was to attend the conference, what am I going to get out of it? No keynote speakers, no sort of technical talks. Is there classes there? Is there workshops?
Yeah, so there'll be a mix of things going on. So let me actually put up the agenda live on the air. I switch over to an agenda.
Yeah, let's hope it works.
So there'll be a collection of sessions. There will be workshops. For example, on the first day, there'll be a professional development and skills workshop around the Kantara initiative. So Kate Chopard from the initiative will be running this workshop, as will her colleague, Lindsay Adams. There is a masterclass, Introduction to Identity, and this is also for professional developments and skills. We're also going to have a talk, which also is a masterclass, Identity as a Key to Supply Chain Security.
Nice. Big talking point at the moment.
Yep. So there'll be panels. There will be keynotes. So Andre Durand from Ping Identity, the CEO and founder, he will be giving a keynote on identity under attack. Ed Harris, the CISO for Mauser Packaging, will be giving a keynote. This will be a CISO conversation, and it will also include Sean Zadig, who is the VP and CISO at Yahoo, Bezowitz Sumner, the CISO of Crisp Shared Service, and Param Eftekari, who is at Cyber Risk Alliance. He is the executive VP of our CISO communities. So the Cybersecurity Collaborative, these cybersecurity forums.
Yeah, great.
We will also have a keynote on investing in identity. We will also have a session that kind of ticks off some of the latest news around FIDO.
Okay, brilliant.
And then there'll be plenty of networking events. There will, of course, be an exhibit hall, which we're calling the Solutions Theater.
Oh, very nice.
And that pretty much runs the gamut, I think.
Brilliant. Just quickly before I move on to my final story, in this great post-pandemic world that we live in, everybody's moving a lot of things online. So the other 200 countries in the world can be involved if they can't afford a flight. What have you got anything? What's lined up for those of us that can only dial in? Can we watch any of it online?
You actually froze momentarily on my screen.
Okay. Basically, can we watch any of it online?
I believe that you can, but let me check on that and get back just to see what that schedule looks like.
We can throw up a link in the show notes. I think that would be the best way.
Perfect.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Bill, and hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Pleasure. Take care.
Cheers. Cheers, Bill. And finally, for years, Russian government hackers have used several made-up personas, just like me on dating sites, I'm joking, to hide their tracks and try to trick security researchers and government agencies into pointing the blame in the wrong direction. They have pretended to be a lone Romanian hacktivist who we'll all remember as Guccifer 2.0 when they hacked the Democratic National Committee, unleashed a destructive malware designed to look like run-of-the-mill ransomware, also hid within servers used by an Iranian hacking group, claimed to be an Islamist hacking group called Cyber Caliphate, hacked the 2018 Winter Olympics, leaving breadcrumbs that pointed to North Korea and China, naughty, naughty, and slipped false evidence within documents released as a hack and leak operation supposedly carried out by the hacktivist group Cyber Barkut. Anyway, security researchers claim they have found Russian government false flags. No shizzle, Sherlock, but a nice article all the same if you like to keep up with a major adversary as is Russia at the moment. Okay, and that's the news for 19th May 2023. I am Aaron Leyland. I've had an amazing week getting to read the news twice and also spending the evening on Pulse Security Weekly. Thank you to Bill Brenner, super informative. And you lucky people have Dr. Doug back on Tuesday, and will hopefully hear from me on Friday for more professional commentary. Peace out.